Right, Gavin, let's go through now looking at market cycles, and I want to understand like what you look at when you analyze Keepa charts in regards to that. So talk me through.
Okay, so every single listing, the way I see it on Amazon, has its own market cycle. It's always in some form of a trend. And what this means is, if you say the offer count is going up, then the price will be on a downwards trend, right? But if the offer count is going right down, then the price will start going up. So, but we also have the sideways. So let's say the offer is about 100, the price is like flatlined after it's reached the bottom, then it's just going sideways for a while. So I'm just going to be talking to you guys using this ASIN here about different market cycles and how this works. Right, so if we look here, it had an initial price of 35. Now I'm putting this as a buy price of $18.14. So if we look at this from this side of the point, like the ROI is good, but it's not going to get everybody to buy it, right? So, like, 10 people buy it, price tanks. What does this mean? The price was in an immediate downtrend, because the offer count started going up. But because they didn't buy much stock, and there wasn't that many people, the listing recovered pretty quick. So let's look at this. So if we look at this, it goes down. And then after a short while, it goes back up again. Wow, this chart's so big. Hang on. Where's a good place to zoom? So that was kind of like how it went during 2021. Then they got out of stock. So let me just put it towards this point here, right? Right. So we see a price of 42. If we look at when everybody started to buy this price, we can see that they were probably analysing this product with a buy price around 42.
Sell price.
Sell price, sorry. And the thing is, if they're doing FBA, they might add another 10%. So they might be thinking 46, 47, you know, well, it's incredible. So everybody buys it. The second people get onto the listing, it reverts straight back to where it was before. And it looks like the floor for this item was around 30. So we can see it going sideways for about a month. And it's also maybe because people wanted to hold it for Q4, right? Because right now we are in December. So we have people holding it, and then once it starts selling, the price will then start increasing. So we reach the $39, and then we go up to 38, well I guess down.
$42.
Okay. So then let me just run through from here. So, and this is the thing, right? An increase in the offer count is always fairly predictable because the deal is too good to be true. And if we look at this, they buy it and then they immediately bring the price back down to 32. Notice how it's always going to around the same price. And this is mentally speaking or psychologically from what people think is like how much are they willing to lose on this product. They don't want to sell it for a loss. So maybe they have like a minimum ROI of like 5 or 10%, or it could even be their break-even price. That's where they're willing to sell it. So we then see it continue to get sold, and then as the offer count goes down again, the price goes back up. Now, what would this mean from a purchasing standpoint? So we've been talking about this. So if we're looking at this, Tom, where on this chart do you think, I guess it's on like a 1 month period, but where do you think you'd want to purchase a product?
Oh, if I'm ever looking at a product, I'd always want to be trying to purchase it on the downward slope of the new seller count.
But whereabouts on this downward slope?
If I look at this, I'd probably say like June the 23rd onwards, that's quite clear that there's a downward slope coming. So I'd say the peak is around June the 8th, and then June the 23rd, I can see the slope. But ultimately, I'd probably like to get closer to the more like July the 24th because we're at historical lows.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do, we're looking at our lead time, right? And the question is, when can we get this product in towards the end of the downtrend? Because towards the end of the downtrend is when the price goes back up. If we buy it on like June the 8th, we're going to have to wait 2 months to get the price we want. But if we can see from June the 10th to July the 1st, it went down by 11, 12. So the assumption about looking at offer counts and stuff like that would be it might go down by another 10 in another month. So July to August the 1st, I guess it did. So that was relatively stable. So perhaps when it gets to 15, the offer count, maybe this would be the best time to buy, and then you would have stock on August the 8th.
So if
that's with a 4-week lead time.
So if I summarize, like the one thing which is really important about understanding this is, number one, you've got to know how long it takes for you to get stock. If you buy it today, how long does it take to ship into Amazon and be on sale? It's such an important metric to know, because you're playing a game against everyone else in your understanding. And also, so if you know that number, then you can look at the graph and you can say, hey, it's not profitable today, or we're going to make a 5% ROI. But we know that by the time it ships in, that price is going back up again, because we can see the decline, we can calculate it. And interesting enough, you can make a really good business out of this, because 99% of sellers will only buy when it's profitable. But if you're able to get in there before it's profitable, knowing that it will become, because you can see the market cycles, you can see the way the price is going, you can see the history, then all of a sudden you're going to have your stock in at the right point. And again, coming down to understanding your business really well, understanding the market you're selling in, understanding the products you're selling, and even if the products you sell are seasonal, for example, if they're beauty or sports or toys, they're toys, Q4, beauty, we talked about the festival handbags.
Yeah.
So it might be it's not profitable now, but buy the festival handbags today in June, because in August they're going to fly out. So that could be
exactly. And you can make so much money from it. It's what we do on so many listings. And the thing is, you don't have to worry if it hasn't hit your price immediately. It's has the offer count continued in the trend that you wanted? And how do we know that this trend is going to continue? Well, if it's been doing it for a month with the offer count, why hasn't anybody bought it yet? And yes, the sale might not be on, but we can see from previous history of that graph that people are never buying this product when it's at that price. They only buy it when it goes up. So what this means is you have a pocket window with every listing that you can sell it at the peak price. And we don't necessarily care about selling at the peak price, but we want to sell at a very good price for a good amount of units. But I will say this, if this is your first time doing this, don't go deep. Test out the method on a few listings, see how it works, and then take it from there. Now, I will say this can be dependent on you getting it at certain prices, a good working price for you. But typically websites rotate their promotions. And I guess in time as well, you can also correlate a lot of Keepa graphs, how they move into certain promos from websites. Because usually it's similar websites that do the same rotation of promos.
If you do a quick favor, just go back to all.
Yeah.
And then zoom in on that kind of I think it's 2021 onwards. Just do 2021 onwards. Oh no, all the way to the way it's 0.8. Do that. Perfect. And the one thing which I'll say about this is you notice the kind of ups and downs. You will notice this, it might be different suppliers, but generally it's the manufacturer going, we're going to make a lot of this stock, we're going to shift it at these times of year, and we'll sell them to maybe different manufacturers. But basically the manufacturer will be wanting to shift lots of these products, and it could be different suppliers. But if you start noticing these products, make that note in your calendar, hey, around this time this product's going to come on. My God, if you're even good, you can start using the Keepa track products to see when the new seller counts goes above X, you can be alerted and say, hey, this product's coming in. And then it might be the case that the sale's on now, and then what you're going to do is you're going to sit on it until that new seller count comes down, still buy it in the sale, but this time it's not going to be profitable, and then have it because of your lead time, you're now shipping it in, sales over, it's now profitable on Amazon, and you've only waited a week or two, that's it. So
exactly.
Taking advantage of that market cycle. My God, look, that market cycle in October 2022, oh my God, everyone hit that listing hard, didn't they? That's absolutely
There would have been blood in the water.
There was blood in the water, 22.
Then if you look what happens, just look at this.
By the way, if you came into this listing in January 2022 and said, hey, look, I can see the direction this is going, it takes me about 2 to 3 weeks to ship in, so I'm going to ship in, and then by the way, your stock would be ready on sale around February, middle of Feb, you're hitting that peak price of $35, $38 or $38, and you're bam, I'm clearing up. But you probably bought it at the end of the sale, which is really interesting, because you could just see the way the graph's going. Because by the way, in December 15th, no one's buying this product from the retailers because there's no money in it to resell on Amazon, us as resellers.
And that's when we've been looking to buy it, right?
Yeah.
That's when I want to buy it.
You can make an entire business model about buying products which are not profitable right now. Next level tip. Right.
It's just the reverse, because everybody does the opposite. Everybody buys stuff that's tanking. It makes no sense. It's like, what are we doing?
No, but it's
throwing
profitable
money.
now. But in 3 weeks' time when it lands, it will not be profitable. But they don't realise that. They want the same.
On an average, I tell my team, where will the price be in 3 weeks? I don't care what the price is now.
I love it. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick moment out of this video right now that's saying analysing Keepa charts is probably one of the most key things you need to do to make sure you're buying right. But what do you need to do before you buy right? You need to be sourcing good products. And where do you need to be sourcing them from? Suppliers. Now, if you want to get my top 100 suppliers, have a look at the link down below. I'm sharing my top 100 UK and USA supplier links that I've used last year that's going to help you out. Have a look at the link down below. It's a free guide that you can get for my top 100 suppliers for USA and UK. Use them, start finding some deals, and then use this Keepa analysis on those deals. Trust me, I think you'll love it. Right, back to the interview. Let's jump on. So there's one final one that we want to do a deal analysis on. So we've got this, so just talk us through, we put in here a buy price of $64, and right now I think the market price is 109. So Gavin, just give us a review, talk us through how would you review this deal? I'd love to see.
Cool. So let's say I was looking at the last 3 months.
So talk me through, verbally explain everything you're doing to me.
So I'm looking at the last 3 months now. The ROI is pretty good at 31%, although I am thinking this could be a high return rate item.
Why?
If we look at this, so we have a black gold bag. Is that silver?
Don't know.
That looks like silver to me.
What, silver actually?
No, the strap. Isn't that silver?
That's called a zip.
The zip?
It's not silver, that's just a zip.
No, that's silver though.
It's a shiny zip.
That's not black or gold.
That won't be real silver for $100.
No, like plated.
Why? Does it say silver plated? No.
So it says black gold here.
Yeah, we colour.
So they're expecting to see like something black gold, right? So there's no black gold, there's silver. So that's a bit dodgy. The reviews, so I'm not too bothered if the reviews is bad, if there's only a small amount. But you do have to look.
You've got to read the reviews, haven't you?
Yeah. Why are they complaining?
So what are the reasons?
It's not good reasons. It's just so cute. See all reviews.
Not very helpful in the review section there.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is actually you got more negative or below 3-star than positive reviews. So I'd be like ultra careful. Carry on.
So I think this is because the metal bit here is not black gold, but it's silver instead. So that will annoy a lot of people. Oh yeah, it's definitely silver.
Yeah.
So let's look back at this. So the offer count is going down, which is good.
Could be a market cycle, could be really happy.
Yeah, but what makes me a little bit cautious, which is like, think what the heck compared to what we were just talking about, is that we're getting on the very end of the market cycle here. And the price hasn't gone up too much. So why is the price, the offer count's gone all the way down to 8, but the price is only at 109.
You'd want to be seeing that price go back up again.
Yeah, to like 115, 130. Because at 130...
Because I'm guessing right now you're looking at the offer count is back the same what it was back in like December when the price was around 130 and you're like, well, why is the price still at like 110?
We're in summer as well. We're in summer. This is a summer backpack. You can see the offer count. You can see the offer count increasing. So why have these guys not increased the price that much? Maybe they have it at a much better price than I do.
What about the stock on the listing? Have they got 10,000 units?
Yeah, let's have a look. No. It's not showing inbound though.
Oh, there's no FBM, is there?
So that's a bit weird. Maybe they have 4 order limit that they're restricting the stock you can buy. But why are they still pricing it so cheap? And the offer count, the sales rank, is improving. So let me just flip that out. What we do know is that if we are to price this at 130, it's going to get swamped. This is an interesting point that experienced sellers will do, is that they'll look at this graph, we see that 130, right, and we see the offer count going mental, and then we see it go all the way down to 103. So if that's the case, why don't we just keep it at a lower ROI and sell it there instead of inviting more people to join the listing and crash the listing.
So to be clear, what you're saying here is like, if you can buy this, instead of trying to maximize the profitability, what you're actually trying to do is minimize the competition by making it look less profitable than it really is.
Yeah.
So on your repricer, you're fixing the max price.
Exactly. And then, once you get into the season, i.e., it'll be September, right? September, August, July, almost now, then you'd start looking at raising the price once that sales rank starts improving drastically. Because at that point, by the time everybody trashes this listing, their stock gets into Amazon too late. And you're getting like, you're able to sell all of your product. But the tricky thing is, with me looking at this right now, if I wanted to buy this right now, the risk is that somebody else has it much cheaper than I do.
So that'd be looking at the supplier store, thinking about that, like can we figure out how much stock they've got, maybe calling supplier up and trying to find out.
Exactly.
Maybe in multiple suppliers, you can call wholesalers and find out how much they've got. Carry on.
It's also arguably a mismatch.
Cool, we'll look at the black gold.
Yep. But I don't think too many will. I think some will return it because of that, but not everybody. But that will increase the return rate.
And then I'm guessing the other one would be the return rate would be the big worry.
Yeah.
Because it's not a cheap item, and the idea is that actually it could cost you a lot in returns. And also, though, this is like fashion, so clothing has a higher return fee, has an additional fee on top, which adds up.
So on one side, we're at the time of the month, we have a 3-week lead time. I want to buy a lot of these units, but I don't want to buy a lot of these units because the return rate is going to be quite high. So I need to make a decision of how many I want to buy, because how many I buy now is going to be how many I buy for pretty much summer. But there's the interesting thing as well, is that people aren't being enticed to buy it now. So if you buy it now, you get yours in, then by the time when you raise the price, everyone else starts buying it. But then summer's kind of over and you've sold all your units. So if I was going to buy it deep now, I'd buy maybe 50 units and then get it in, try and raise the price, knowing that once everybody else gets their stock in, I've sold out, and then they can crash the price. I don't care.
I think the one question I would look at is like, what am I looking at if, this is like the kind of market price, should we say 102, like what would I get around 102? And they'd be like, 0, I get a 21% ROI, so like, I'm not too bad. Like if that kind of seems like the norm market price, I could deal with that. I can see when there's competitor, chasing, they go down to about $80. My break even is 86, so you'd be okay. And interesting enough, you've seen the sell count's now flatlining, which is an interesting point around there. I think when we kind of look at these and listen to Gavin, so thank you, is like we're trying to analyze lots of different things. We're trying to layer it on top of each other. So in regards to this deal, first of all, we've got the fact that it looks really sexy, but we're like, what's going on? Why is the price not going back up again? Because now the new seller count is at the lowest, and we haven't seen a return to that price back in, should we say, December. Number 2 is the fact that we're really worried about the review count, or the review count is actually pretty bad. So it could mean high return rate, and like Gavin said, it might not be gold. That could be an issue. And again, we've got the increased fee on top of that. And then number 3 is the fact that we probably want to think about where is the supplier we're buying this from. If it's a well-known supplier, like we talked about the shoes with East Bay in the US before, like that could be like a whoa, step back, this is going to crash because every man and his dog is going to be jumping on it. Or if it's someone that no one really knows, and perhaps maybe we can find out the supplier hasn't got much, maybe they've only got 50 in stock, we might just buy out everything and say absolutely fine. There's quite a lot of different factors we're considering, but again, trying to consider what's going on and layering on different bits of information.
Yeah, so if this was in March, May, I'd do a test buy of about 10 units. But if this was now, maybe I'd just buy 50 and see how it goes. Because the 21% ROI isn't great. Maybe after returns you're making like 5 or 10% ROI on average per product. But it's kind of worth a punt because someone is keeping this price. I think someone's keeping the price low, and that's something we can take advantage of.
Good. And they might sell out. There's not actually much stock on the listing, is there?
Yeah, but I don't always trust that. And the reason why is we don't know if they're putting in more stock. Yeah. If they're keeping it this low, why aren't they raising the price? Can you look at the data tab
and see what their stock levels have been?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Offers. So you can see that this guy's, the top one's pumped in quite a bit of stock.
They just disappeared, so maybe that's back ordered then. Oh no, because they're putting a restriction of 4 units per person.
Yeah, so that's why.
So if they're doing this on this 18 overall, we're never going to see how much stock.
So they might have a good amount of stock in it.
Yeah. So you're not going to get any information from that. But what we can say is, what about the review count? It's not going up super massively, but the offer count is going down so quick. So the offer count was going down super quick with a worse BSR, and now it's going down super slow with a much better BSR. So I think they have more stock than we think, because otherwise the sales rank, this will just continue going down, but it's kind of stabilised for the
We
last
should be
month.
pumping in stock as we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, look, let's leave it there, Gavin. So I just want to say thank you so much for analysing all those deals, sharing your knowledge on what you're doing. Question for you, if anyone wants to get in contact, how can they do it?
Yep, so I'm available on Twitter, Gavin Sweeney, with 2 Ys. You can also just search for me on Facebook, but I am by far the most active on Twitter, for sure.
Fantastic. And what I will say is, if you want to get in contact with him, have a look at the links down below. I will share them, also you can get them as well. But Gavin, myself, everyone watching, thank you so much.
Anytime, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Stakes on me next week, not this week, because too many people are coming. It's bloody expensive.
I was about to say, yes, that's a win.